everyone, and welcome back to Berry Patch Lifestyle. My name is Tracy, and I really hope you're enjoying Yoga Fundamentals for Beginners. We're working on day 10 today. I also hope you enjoy the next 11 days as well, because we're going to do 21 days of this. For today, we're going to do 5 poses. We're going to do cat-cow. Some people kind of mash that one together. We're going to do pigeon, and we're going to do child's pose, and then shavasana. So it's a very basic group of postures today, nice and slow moving, not a lot of high energy, but at the end we're going to put all of them together. All right, so for today we're just going to scoot right down to our mats. You're going to come down to all fours any way you can get there, nothing special about that today. So all fours, plant your hands, plant your knees, flatten your feet out, and what you always want to do is try and get all of your knuckles pressing down into the mat. And I think that probably this part of your fingers are the hardest to get down, but you'd want to try to flatten them. If you can't, that's okay, but that's what you're working towards. So for cat-cow, I feel like I need to scooch a little here. For cat-cow, the cat part of it, we arch our back up just like you would see a cat do when they're taking their big stretch. So you push the mid part of your back up and your tail will automatically start to curl in. You want to make sure that you don't collapse into your shoulders when you do that, but come nice and tall out of your shoulders, pressing into your hands, tucking the tail, and then you can tuck the head as well. And you'll start to feel that shoulder stretch. You might even feel that your lower abdominal muscles are pulling in. And you would take a couple of breaths here. And then you're going to turn everything kind of inside out. The tail for cow is going to go up into the air, and our gaze is going to go up as high as we can go without straining our necks. So we're going to look up into the sky. Again, we're not collapsing into the shoulders, but pushing out of the shoulders. Nice and tall, breathing, feet are flat. And then what we'll normally do is do this a couple of times. We'll curl under. We're cats again. And then look up to the sky, and the tail goes up at the same time. Inhale. Same as everything else, we're going to turn everything down and we're going to exhale. And then we'll slowly move through that again. Inhale. You can hold there or exhale and curl under again. Now, that is the basic way of doing cat-cow, but you can turn it into something a little bit different if you want. So when you are going to turn your tail up, you can always turn it a little bit to the side and have a look. This is going to give you a different kind of stretch in your mid-body. And then you exhale, and then we're going to inhale again, look to the other side. Let's try that again. We're going to inhale, exhale, inhale to the other side. And if you really want to do something different, you can just move your body through all of that. You can kind of scoot the mat if you want. Inhale, as long as you're inhaling and exhaling with each movement. Remember, when you are moving up, we're inhaling, moving down is an exhale. So move straight. Scooch against the mat again, check our tail, do another basic cat-cow. And I'm going to suggest that you really play with that. It can be fun and it can show you where there's some things maybe holding in your body. Just doing it a little bit differently than you've seen in other classes. All right, so now we're going to push up. We're on all fours, finish with our cat-cow. Practice that one on your own. You're going to curl your toes under and push up to a downward dog, which you've seen lots now. We'll pedal the feet, push the sits bones up, push out and up out of your shoulders. Flatten your hands. And we'll bring the heels up and then press them down. We'll bring our right foot to the middle of the mat, and then our left foot is going to go up into the sky. So we are now preparing for a pigeon pose. So we're in a three-legged dog. We're going to bend the knee, send those left toes to the right wall. Hold here. I'll let you get set up. You can even look out under your armpit if you want. Open the hips up just a little bit more. And you're going to look to your left hand and you're going to bring your left knee to your left wrist. So now we're settled into pigeon. Very basic way of doing this is to sit with this leg bent and have your weight into your back leg. Now, if you can't really hold yourself there without letting go of your hands, what you can do is find a block, or if you don't have a block, use a pillow and place it underneath your leg. Okay, so if that's more comfortable for you, now you're seated on the block in pigeon. And normally we would hold this posture for a little bit, sitting up tall. And once you've kind of stretched that out a little bit, you'll probably be called to come down to your mat and make a small pillow. So what that means is one hand flat here, other hand over top, and the forehead just rests in there. You don't have to make a pillow if you don't want to. If you want to put your head straight onto the mat, that's good. The other thing about pigeon is a lot of instructors will say that you can bring this foot parallel to this shin, I guess, parallel to the short edge of your mat. If that's available to you and you can practice that, that's fantastic. I have learned over the last 25 years of practicing yoga, my leg doesn't go that way. So I've tried and I've tried. Sometimes you can practice and practice and it still doesn't work out. So if you can do that, you're flexible that way, that's great. If not, you can keep that leg bent. The other way you can do this, I'll take that block out, is to just bend that leg and kind of sit right on top of it. So you can do it this way as well. There's more progression to this, but I think we're just gonna switch to the other side now. So to get out of this, I'm gonna curl my toes under, press down into my hands, start to lift my body, and I'm gonna send that leg back up where it came, and then exhale it down. And we'll just do the same thing on the other side. So flattening the left foot, bring it to the center of the mat, bringing that right foot up into the air. And then we're gonna take the right toes to the left wall. I'm gonna look out under that armpit again. And then right knee comes to right wrist. You might be able to see this leg a little bit better on this side. If you like, you can take your block underneath. Have it sit there. Now again, if you can have this leg parallel to the short edge of the mat, that's your way of doing it. The other thing you're gonna wanna do is keep that foot flexed to protect your knee, okay? So for me, it's coming this way. I'm gonna sit up tall here, holding myself up. Inhale and then exhaling down, making my little pillow if I choose. Remembering that if I just want to put my forehead straight onto the mat, that's okay. And if your pillow looks different than everyone else's, that's okay too. I'll put my head down for a moment. Remove my block. I'm going to curl those toes under. Come up on the hands, start to lift the body, and the right leg goes back into the sky, and then back down to the mat, and we're back in downward dog. So something to practice and find your level of comfort and your level of flexibility. The next thing we're going to do is a place that we often go when we've done a lot of movement or a lot of stretch and you need a bit of rest, and it's called a child's pose. So here we were in downward dog. I'm gonna bend the knees to the mat. Your child's pose can look a couple of different ways. You're gonna bring your torso down to the tops of your knees, best you can. And then your hands can be at either side of you if you like. Kind of just laying on the mat, and your head will come all the way down. I don't wanna bring my head all the way down because you won't be able to hear me. So you just rest your forehead on the ground. You can have your arms stretched out. Normally, if I'm in the middle of a class and I call for child's pose, I will say to keep your arms active. So that means you're not going to bring them to your sides, but you're going to send them out in front of you and keep them stretching away from you. So this is a little bit more of an active posture than if your hands are here. You can grab onto your feet if you like when you're here. Let your hands just fall. That is a child's pose. This is an active child's pose. So I can still feel my arms kind of stretching. I'm still keeping active. Okay? So the last one we're gonna do is Savasana, and it's a lot of people's favorite pose. So Savasana is corpse pose, which is exactly what it sounds like. We're going to be like, we're not gonna say like dead people because that's not fun. But we're gonna be like we're sleeping. How's that? So we're gonna come down, not on our block. Have your head resting nice and comfortably on the ground. And for Shavasana, what we'll normally do, everyone is a little bit different. So we'll say, send your feet to either corner of your mat. So that just means have your feet come to either corner and then let your feet fall. So you're gonna let them fall out to the sides. Every instructor has a different way of doing this. You normally would have your hands to the sides with your palms facing up. And if you can, you would close your eyes. If closing your eyes in Shavasana is not comfortable, you don't close your eyes. If you don't want to lay down, don't worry about that either. In my classes, what I normally like to do is a body scan. It's a little bit reminiscent of Yoga Nidra if anyone has ever done that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay too. But what I'll do is I will start at the toes and ask you to relax. So what you want to do is bring your focus and attention when I say to your left big toe, and you'll just concentrate and let that relax. Then I would normally say, go to your next toe. Sometimes I do it really slowly. Sometimes I just say, relax the whole foot. It depends on the type of yoga I'm teaching. If none of that works for you, you might just want to lay quietly. And if you fall asleep in Shavasana, it is very normal. I fall asleep probably 8 out of 10 times. It might only be for a second. And you get that sort of instance where you're like, how much did I miss? It's probably only about 30 seconds. People snore in Shavasana, it's okay. Bodily sounds in yoga are okay too. So don't worry about any of that stuff. Seasoned yogis have heard everything. That's our class for today. I really hope you enjoyed it. Practice all of these postures, and in a couple of days, we're going to bring them all together. Till next time.